Hey guys, I'm here today to talk to you about the kooky way the United States regulates chemicals in the everyday products that we use, such as makeup. Mainly that they don't. That's right. This garbage is so full of garbage that we are actually turning our bodies into garbage. This beautiful contour makeup that I'm currently wearing, for example, is literally putting poison into my pores as I'm speaking. What? Wait a minute. What? Are you fucking kidding me? This is funny, you guys! Get this shit off of me! Heather! But it isn't like this in other countries. See, the EU adheres to something called the precautionary principle. And what exactly is the precautionary principle? Great question, Katie. You are smart and valuable and you ask great questions. Other than being a perfect example of why we should all move to Europe, the precautionary principle is the principle that the introduction of a new product or process whose ultimate effects are disputed or unknown should be resisted. Essentially, they are cautious. If the effects of something are unknown, they say no. If data is inconclusive, they ask for more data. The United States, however, operates under a high proof of harm. In other words, they require significant evidence that something is detrimental to the environment and the population in order to ban it. Ready to have your mind blown? The United States has not passed a federal law to regulate the ingredients used in personal care products since 1938. In fact, the US has only banned 11 chemicals from personal care products to date. Yeah, I don't know why that blew my mind. It's actually not surprising at all. Conversely, the European Union has spent the past 2 decades banning or restricting more than 1,300 ingredients from personal care items alone. And this isn't a problem exclusive to the personal care industry. The Toxic Substances Control Act, TSCA, for example, was created in 1976 and was designed to protect humans and the environment from toxic industrial chemicals, which is great, except that it totally doesn't. In actuality, the TSCA created so many obstacles for regulators to jump through that more often than not, it has actually gotten in the way. Meanwhile, the American public unknowingly smears, breathes, drinks, and eats poison literally every day. Take those notorious tricksters, red dye number 40, yellow dye number 5, and yellow dye number 6. In 2007, scientists concluded that eating artificial food dye was bad for you. Go figure. Specifically, that they caused hyperactivity in children and have also been linked to cancer. You know, those 2 diseases that are a total bummer and everyone hates and are a big problem here in the United States of America. So, while in the UK this study was enough to ban dyes as food additives, the United States was all like, oh, yeah? But, nah, we're good. No, we are not good. You know what kind of food contains dye? Kid food. You know who eats kid food? Everyone. Mostly me, though. God, I love Jell-O. Ever pick up a harmless box of juice? Well, odds are that it only contained like 4% fruit. The rest is red dye number 40. Ever wonder how Mac and Cheese obtains that eerie hue of orange? Well, up until this year, it was with yellow dye number 5 and number 6. And you know that old saying, if it's not a dye, it's a preservative? Well, that is exclusively relevant here. Take a look at this label from a box of Rice Krispies. What exactly is BHT? Well, BHT is a synthetic compound which is commonly used to preserve foods and cosmetics and also can be found in jet fuels, rubber, petroleum products, and in embalming fluid. However, perhaps its most distinguished feature is that it should not be allowed to enter the environment because it is a known carcinogen that can cause liver damage, which, you know, isn't something that I really want for breakfast. Now, BHT is not to be confused with the bovine growth hormones BGH or BST, the toxic spawn of Monsanto, which was somehow approved by the FDA in 1993, even though that shit ain't good for us or the cows. Yeah. Growth hormones have been linked to breast and prostate cancer, thyroid disease, diabetes, obesity, infertility, asthma, allergies. So, you know, that sucks. These hormones may supersize the beefs, but they also lower the cow's immune systems, causing udder infection. These infections are then treated with antibiotics, and that, my friends, is how hormones and antibiotics find their way into our food and water supply. Which is apparently no big deal to us Americans, because we just love adding stuff to our water. F***ing shit, I don't know. I don't know, man. You guys want more scary examples? How about formaldehyde? Formaldehyde, which is banned in Japan and Sweden, is a toxic flammable gas used in the production of fertilizers, bleaching agents, food preservatives, hair straighteners, baby shampoo, and soap, of all things. If someone were to draw a cartoon of formaldehyde, they would be deemed negligent if they left the skull and crossbones off. However, in the United States, it's also added to milk, noodles, and meat to extend shelf life. So, like, you know, things aren't great. New legislation would be good. Right now, our system forces us to rely on the transparency of the companies we buy from, but there is hope. The trendier it is for us to not like being poisoned / want to continue the human race, the more appealing it is for big companies and politicians to get us what we want. For example, Panera Bread recently announced that they were getting rid of all artificial flavorings and preservatives in their food. Also, Panera has some really delicious soups and hearty salads. Shop at Panera. But if you don't want to only eat at Panera Bread for the rest of your life, continue to educate yourself. Check out websites such as the Environmental Working Group for tons of information on what household products actually contain and what other options you have available. Or check out documentaries such as Fed Up, Forks Over Knives, and The Human Experiment, which are all examples of films that I have not seen, but here are great. Wish I had a joke I could end this with, but I don't. Not at the moment, anyway. Give me a minute. I'll come up with something. That's the end beat that I have there. I really don't have it. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Click subscribe, hit like, share, and while you're here, why don't you let us know what's going on in your life? How are you being poisoned? Your animals, your relationships, your phone, your YouTube addiction? Let's just get real. Cut.